World, hello. I'm bringing you a public health service announcement. Yes, for you and you, for all people, people who eat food. Yes, people who eat food. Whether you grow your food, whether you buy your food from the store, whether you buy your food from the market, or whether you buy your food from the restaurant. You, people who eat food. This is for you. Pay attention, listen carefully. Have some news for you. The Center for Disease Control, also known as the acronym CDC, they reported that one in six people get sick from eating contaminated foods. This is a number that has not declined in the last 7 years. I repeat, 1 in 6 people get sick from eating contaminated food, and this number has not declined in the last 7 years. I'm back. Told you I'd be back. I have a question for you. How often do you think about the quality of your food? Not just shopping at World Market versus Walmart. Not just eating at a 5-star restaurant where your meal is $200 versus eating at Chili's. Like, really, how often do you think about the quality of your food and if you'll get sick from it? It runs a lot deeper than where you purchase your food or how you cook it at home. Got some background information for you on that. Okay, these are things we should be thinking about. Things like cross-contamination, sanitation conditions of where our food is being grown, of where, if you're a meat eater, yes, it's carnivores, where the meat is being raised and bred and held, and also time temperature control once that food is in the restaurant or once you get that food home. Those are things that you and I, have to take charge of and be held accountable for when it comes time to prepare our food to make sure it's safe. Now, something you should ask yourself before you eat anything, meat, vegetable, pasta dish, is it safe or not? Cross-contamination. I have 2 examples for you. One that happens in everyday life as we cook at home for our families, and the other that happens out at the feed farm or at the butcher shop from the people who send the food to the grocery store. Okay, I'm going to reference 6 Modern Plagues and How We Are Called to Them. That's a book that's written by a young man by the name of Mark Jerome Walters. He talks about mad cow disease and how it came about. As you see in the illustration below, I gave you some funny. But in actuality, that is not how mad cow disease got started. But they were trying to stretch the feed that they were feeding the cows. So they thought it would be a lovely, fantastic ideal to feed cows ground up infected dead cows. Well, at the time they didn't know it was affected, but they were mixing ground up dead cows in with the regular feed that they were feeding. Okay, that first example of cross-contamination, we as consumers have no control over there, but the HACCP, they are responsible for ensuring that does not happen, and that's pronounced HACCP. Okay, now on to the next example of cross-contamination. Now this, we have responsibility for, we need to take accountability for, is using the same cutting board, which also presents cross-contamination. We cannot cut our meats on the same cutting board as we cut our vegetables. We cannot cut chicken on the same cutting board as we cut our steak. We cannot use the same knife to cut our meat as we do our vegetable without washing with some good and hot soap and water. Yes. So bacteria, we all know they're freeloaders, they're hitchhikers. So to avoid that, the proper thing we must do at home, use separate cutting boards between your veggies and your meats. Use separate knives if you have to. That's something we can do to take responsibility and to prevent foodborne illnesses right at home, to prevent cross-contamination. Sanitation. Sanitation covers a range of things from hand washing to personal hygiene to skin conditions to using gloves to clean working conditions to clean cooking and cutting and prep utensils. Now I know I'm not the only one. You ever been little, mama told you to take some food out and the food stayed out too long because she didn't feel like cooking when she was tired, when she got off work for whatever reason, and you try to stick that meat back in the freezer? Yeah, nah, we can't do that. There's a fancy word for that called time temperature control. Bacteria will grow and fester and just explode and make babies while that meat's sitting out. You try to put it back in the freezer and freeze it, that bacteria will be waiting for you when it's time to cook it. Now, I will conclude this with saying I know I offered y'all a lot of information in such a short period of time, but those are really, really simple things we can do at home, in the workplace, to prevent foodborne illnesses, to keep us healthy, to stop us from getting sick. Is that simple, but they're often neglected. So you and I both have to do better in that. Share this information with people you know. Thank you for listening. Rate this video.